Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So yes, yet another Hogwarts Legacy related video, and I know a certain section of Twitter is going to be very upset about videos like this, but you know what? As long as they continue to harass people over playing a video game, I'm going to keep making these videos because honestly, they are premium free content. I can wake up on any given day and have endless sources to look at for videos like this because people can't act normal on Twitter over people playing a video game. So, nonetheless, let's enjoy the content. Today we have all kinds of updates. We're going to look at a new strategy these Twitter freaks are using to harass people for guilt by association because their friends are playing Hogwarts Legacy. So that is now justification to harass even more VTubers over this situation. And then we're going to get some updates on the Pippa Pipkin situation. And then we're going to look at how Hololive's Kobo Kanaeru and her community were able to stomp out people trying to harass her over playing Hogwarts Legacy. And then we're going to take a quick look at a couple of VTweeters who are quite angry with me at the moment. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the first story involves the popular VTuber Lopi, who is saying this message right here saying, "Hi, I've gotten a few very mean DMs regarding people I'm following on Twitter. If you would like me to unfollow someone, please give me reasons instead of threats." Now, what is happening here is referred to as follow policing. It is something very popular among unhinged people on Twitter. It's basically where a person you know or don't even know will approach you in DMs or tag you on Twitter and say, for example, "Hey Rev, did you know that you're following this problematic content creator?" And normally it will follow with some sort of a threat like, "If you don't unfollow this person, I'm going to block you within 24 hours, or I'm going to call you out at a certain point." Like, here's my general advice for dealing with people like that. If someone's going to police you on who you're following on social media, the natural reaction is to unfollow them. Or if you're not following them, either block them, ignore them, or laugh at them, because there's nothing more pathetic than trying to police who someone interacts with online. We're not talking about serial killers or genuinely evil people. We're talking about, in this case, people playing Hogwarts Legacy. So this is the new strategy here. And this was something that we're going to look at just one example of the stuff that she dealt with. So this person said, "Okay, Pippa, the person in your likes recently, has played the wizard game simply to stoke the fire for attention and liked a tweet saying 41% isn't enough," which is a reference to the transgender suicide statistic. "There's a reason to stop supporting her." And of course, users with, some brain cells to use here say, quoting, "and liked a tweet saying 41% is not enough." There's no tweet like that in her likes. Either post an archive or screen cap or stop spreading misinfo, which, by the way, whenever you see outrageous and outlandish claims about people being transphobic or all these other things out of thin air, the number one thing you can do to shut all of that down immediately is say one thing: proof. Just ask for proof, and 99% of the time they're going to crumble before your eyes. And in this case, the user replied by saying, "Personally, playing a game that directly supports the oppression of a minority and playing it like a joke seems like a good enough reason to not support her, but that's my take." Well, now we understand what the real issue is here. They're upset that Pippa is playing Hogwarts Legacy, and this person, this Lopi person, is mutuals with them and seems to interact with them. So it's not about any sort of transphobia that was found in Pippa's likes or anything like that. It was about the fact she's playing this game and to rile up people who are angry that they're being called out for harassing people over streaming a video game. And just to make this clear, and we'll talk about this in a little bit when we talk about Pippa, it's very clear that Pippa is, she has some edgier jokes and edgier content. She's known for that, but she clearly does not hate trans people. In fact, if you looked at her Hogwarts Legacy related streams, people were being transphobic, were being banned routinely. In her recent tweets, she has denounced transphobia more or less by speaking about not attacking people's identities. And she even blocks people who are being transphobic, and she's also hidden replies that have transphobic messages. So it's like very clear that's not what she's about. And in this case, this person's just trying to make things up to make her look bad. It's such a reach, and it's obvious to people like this. So it goes on to say, you do realize, another user says, you do realize that you just outed yourself as being potentially among the same group that harassed Pikami, right? Which, of course, making up things to harass someone is right on par with the people harassing Pikami. And then the original person responds with, I never watched her, but consistently the vast majority of people who harassed those streamers were just bait accounts. Y'all fell for them, and no, I wouldn't. And this user says, you are, which saying that you're the harassers, which is very true. They are the harassers. They're the ones who are denying that the harassment took place in the first place, and now they're trying to pin it on alt-right people baiting trans people into looking like the harassers in this situation. I just want to take a moment and appreciate how far we've gone in the sort of narrative involving Pikami. It started off as she was never harassed. Then when the hundreds and hundreds of screenshots of evidence that she's being harassed came out, people said, well, she may have been harassed, but she was going to graduate anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. And then the narrative switched to, once it was becoming clear that maybe the harassment sped up her graduation, then the excuse came, well, she may have been harassed and it may have played a role in her graduation, but the harassment was actually manufactured. It was a right-wing psyop that was framing people online, groups like trans people, to look bad. And of course, it's important to point out, it's not just trans people who are harassing these streamers. It was all across all spectrums and across the board. And unfortunately, it was just Twitter freaks. It's people harassing others over a video game. And it's unfair to lump in one group as responsible. So that's one of the many reasons why, in every single video I say, do not resort to transphobia. It's not trans people's fault that those are being harassed for streaming this game. And you can't blame an entire group for the actions of a few people. That's not fair, right? And resorting to things like transphobia, besides being wrong in the first place, just plays into the narrative of a lot of people like this who are looking for an excuse to justify being both the victim and the bully in this situation. But yeah, this is kind of the new route of harassing people by association. And now we're even talking about what's in someone's likes. If they liked a tweet of another content creator who might have liked another tweet that might have been transphobic, but it didn't actually happen. It's crazy. It's the new tool that they're using, because it's getting harder and harder to kick people down over this game, and people have to expand their arsenal to try to harass people over this game. So like I said, we're going to do an update now on the Pippa Pipkin situation. Now, I covered this a few days ago. If you want the full details, you can check out that video. But basically, Pippa makes a post promoting a Hogwarts Legacy stream, gets huge traction mainly because it was very polarizing. The stream happens, it's a big success, and the controversy surrounding her never stopped. She's still trending. I can see it in the background here. She's still trending to this day. This is many days later. This is 4 days later after this post, and Pippa is still trending nonstop. And one of the complaints that has come out is that Pippa is transphobic for streaming this game, and that she's appealing to alt-right people, and it's a completely ridiculous thing to say. And there's no proof of that, and there's hundreds and hundreds of quote retweets down here implying as such, saying that even this tweet, saying that she hates people on Twitter more than Harry Potter, is some sort of a dog whistle for trans people, and it's clearly not. So after all of this was happening, Pippa came out yesterday and made this statement, which I thought was a pretty good strategy to make it very clear where she stands on these things. So she said, "It's nice to meet you all. It's been a hectic past few days, and I'm not sure how to word this properly. While I do appreciate all of the kind messages, I don't appreciate being used as an excuse to attack other people. Let's not shit fling and attack other people's identities. If I see it, I'll be blocking and banning you from my community like I do the rest of the trolls and bullies. Do not try to misinterpret my words and use me as a banner to attack other people." It's very obvious she's saying don't attack people on their identities, which would mean don't attack people just because they're trans, right? It's right in line with her personality. Yeah, she might be edgier but there's no evidence that she's a transphobe, and it's very clear. And she already polices these things in her community and has been ever since she made that initial stream announcement post about 4 days ago. And people reacting to this has been very mixed. Obviously, it's very well supported, 17,000 likes. A lot of people happy to see this, happy to see her stand up for this and make it clear. But a lot of people are angry on both sides, both extremes. And I think that is important to point out. It's not just, Twitter freaks, but it's the other side, the other extreme. So Twitter freaks are angry because they're basically saying this is not enough. That somehow saying that don't attack people on, based on their identity, that's somehow still not enough. And you're still a transphobe for playing Harry Potter. And then on the other extreme, you have like actual alt-right people who are like, oh, Pippa sold out. She's apologizing. Let me make this very clear. In case maybe your reading comprehension skills are not very good. This is not an apology. This is just clarifying her stance. That's all there is to it. It's not an apology. And I don't really understand why anyone would think this is like a sign of weakness. I think this was a smart thing to do, just to put it out there and really just shut up the V-tweeters. But of course, that doesn't make them happy. If anything, this proved the people who are willing to listen will appreciate this, and the Twitter freaks and other extreme people out there, they're never going to be happy. There's nothing you're going to do that will ever make those people happy. And honestly, you don't need to focus on them. Just focus on the positive reaction to a tweet like this. So I thought that was a good update to this situation. Now we're going to move on to really what I would say is a breath of fresh air around here. So Hololive's Kobo Kanaeru, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that last part, but I'm trying. She recently has been streaming a lot of Hogwarts Legacy. And now, of course, you're like, well, she must have been getting attacked left and right. Well, no. Actually, Kobo has been getting a great amount of support, mainly because her community has really rallied behind her. And it's honestly awesome to see. They have been stomping out any sort of attacks on Kobo. It has been beautiful to watch. So if you don't know, she is an Indonesian streamer, and her community, they are showing that the Indonesian fans, they're Giga Chads, okay? They step in. You go to the reply sections, you got things like this saying, and unfollowed. There is 3 likes, and there is over 300 comments clowning on this person. And you go to the quote retweets, half of the quote retweets are just people celebrating, proud of their Oshi for streaming this game and not being afraid to. And the other half is basically her fans patrolling and looking for anyone saying anything bad. And the few quote retweets where someone, typically from Western Twitter, says something, they get jumped. It is so funny to see. And it must be something about the Indonesian fans. They're Giga Chads. Like, it's just Southeast Asia. I don't know what it is. Like, for me, it's always been a welcome surprise for me. My second highest demographic of viewers, the highest one outside the United States, is the Philippines. I don't know what the appeal is, but you know what? It's very welcomed. Welcome to my channel. You guys are all great, and I love having a wide, diverse community. But this just goes to show you, if your community can rally behind you enough and stick up for you, you can stomp out this harassment really quick. And honestly, it has a lot to do with Kobo's attitude on it. You know what? It's not even much of an attitude. It's just making the content and not apologizing. That's pretty much it. And she's been able to fly under the radar with this, and it's a good thing to see. It makes you happy, especially with all the harassment going on. So, speaking of which, we are now going to take a bit of a detour in this video. We're going to talk about a couple of V-tweeters are really mad at me currently, and it's been an interesting couple of weeks. Basically, I'm at a point where anytime I make a Hogwarts Legacy related video, there's like quakes going on throughout the V-tweeter community who are like boarding up their windows because they're scared they're going to end up in a red video, because apparently I launch harassment campaigns against everyone and I direct you guys to harass people, which all of you know is not true in the slightest. So I was shown this tweet, and it's quite a doozy. So let's read it real quick. It's from a V-tweeter featured in one of my previous videos. They say, Love that people are making videos using my model without the consent of myself or even my artist. Then they state stuff they know nothing about as if it's facts for 20 minutes, all while having no real point at all. Stay mad, idiot. Where this person then said, wait, what? And they said, I ended up the sole subject of a cringe video. And of course, this user replies, was it that pedo rev? LOL. And of course, there's 2 likes on this, and you can probably guess one of those people liking the tweet, which based on the context and that comment, I know exactly who they're talking about, and it's my video, and it was the Pippa video. And in this case, you know, am I surprised that these people are watering down the term pedo just like they water down the term transphobe to mean anyone who disagrees with them? No, I'm not surprised at all. And it's not surprising to see people like this watering down these terms that help out the real transphobes and pedos who are not going to be taken as seriously when they're labeled those things because users like this continue to water them down over and over. But I wanted to look at this tweet right here, these series of tweets, because they just show the immense level of gaslighting and delusional behavior these people have and how it can just be accepted with no questioning at all because it just fits everyone's narratives. So when they're talking about not having the consent, I didn't have the consent of them or their artist to use their model in my video, realize they're talking about a screenshot I used of their tweets. That is what they're referring to by me using their model without their permission. It was a quote retweet they did to a Pippa tweet that someone else screenshotted and included in a compilation of other angry quote retweets responding to Pippa's stream. So there's nothing unique about it. It's just a public tweet. It's amazing how mad people get when they make incendiary public tweets and then someone responds to them publicly and they have a shocked Pikachu face like, you're not allowed to do that. Well, I am allowed to do it. It's free use. Just like it's free use to use your public tweets. And in this case, again, it wasn't even my screenshot, and it was a censored, their @ was censored. Now, I'm going to censor everything. This is going to be exactly what people like this want. I'll censor even your profile picture so you don't get upset about that. But here's the thing. Moving on from that, besides, you know, I'm not going to get into their subjective view of whether or not my video is speaking facts or not, because I don't care, and no one can argue that one way or the other. It's just your opinion. But they say that they were the sole subject of the video. So I had to go back and figure out who this was, because at the end of the day, I don't care who these people are, these VTubers. I don't care who you are personally. I don't even know your name. The reason I include you in my videos is because of the things you say and the things you do. Who you are, your name, all those things matters nothing to me. I only care about what you say. And then I address the words you're saying. I'm not personally addressing you. I could care less. It's all about the message of what you're saying. And if you want to say something publicly, don't act surprised when people respond to you publicly. It's not harassment. It's called dialogue. And the tweet itself that I ended up finding from the Pippa video, they made a quote retweet essentially accusing Pippa of catering to alt-right people and that she's like this terrible person and a grifter and all these things. Like, if you're going to be that angry, you should expect people to respond to you and to correct whatever you're saying. And when I went to the video, so they said they were the sole focus of the video. I actually checked all of it. They were on my screen for 43 seconds. Their quote retweet, which was one of about 25 we looked at, was on my screen for 43 seconds. That video was 24 minutes and 41 seconds. You do the math, that is roughly 6% of the video. So yeah, talk about main character syndrome, am I right? But you know what, like I said, we'll move on from you. But I just think that goes to show you the delusions of people and how they will make themselves this huge victim of, I don't even know what, of being included in my video, one of many people. Again, it's not personal. It's just about what you're saying. And if you want to make aggressive public quote retweets of another content creator, expect people to use those and react publicly to them. It's not surprising. But it just reminded me of another situation. Another VTuber actually made the accusation that I'm using my my Discord server to launch harassment campaigns against trans people. Now, if you've been around here long enough, you know I don't have a Discord server. I don't even have a Discord server. Where confronted with that reality, they then said, get this, no, it's clearly your fan servers. Excuse me, do these people think I'm like Kanye West or something? Like, I don't have fan servers. Like, I appreciate all of the support and all of my viewers and everyone in my community. I really do. And if there is a fan server out there, like, awesome, that's really sweet of you. But there is no collection of hive mind, a roving gang of Rev fan servers going around harassing trans people. You know that, number one, I would never encourage transphobia, and number two, I would never target harass anyone. Talking about people in videos is not targeted harassment, by the way. Unless you're actually getting into personal things like petty insults. Like, I don't even encourage anyone to make petty insults like attacking people's appearances and things like that. Because when you're dealing with crazy V-tweeters and people like that, you don't need to stoop to those levels to make fun of them. They make the most crazy, outlandish, unprovable statements, and they basically let you, they put the ball on the tee for you. It's so easy to either make fun of them or disprove what they're saying. Like I said earlier, the number one thing you can do to make any of these Twitter freaks literally fall to their knees is to ask for proof of what they're saying. That's all you have to do, and it's really just that easy. And I've had so many crazy accusations made, not just against me, but anyone else covering the situation, anyone else bold enough to say, don't harass people over video games, and it's a crazy situation. And I really think that's going to be it for this video. Another rambly time talking about Hogwarts Legacy, and I don't think the drama is going to stop anytime soon. I feel like things are only going to mutate into other issues and other forms of harassment against content creators for playing certain games or associating with problematic people. We're now seeing people getting harassed over the likes or people they associate with who might play a video game. That's crazy in my mind. But that's going to do it for this video. Please share all of your thoughts about the topics in this video in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed, everyone, and I'll see you next time.